Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
From Royal Communications Incorporated, good afternoon and welcome to King's News Broom, 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Today is Thursday, December 5, 2024, and I'm Shemo Dia presenting. In the headlines, Supreme Court issues temporary stay order in case involving former Finance Minister Samuel Toy and others. At least four persons are reported dead on the Mangini County's halfway during fatal accident involving deceased Nima counties and the Prince Johnson's official vehicle Senate 13. And also in the news, several districts and counties education officers file a rate of prohibition against Education Minister Dr. Jasso Jalal. They grieved education officers' term as unlawful attempt by Dr. Jalal to remove them from their positions. Away from Liberia, Kian Court has convicted a photographer for the murder of LGBT activist Edwin Kiprote, popularly known as Edwin Choloba, whose body was found dumped in a metal box nearly 2 years ago. These plus the news bulletin, voices of those making the news are all packaged, but we'll take a break to be right back. Welcome back. At this juncture, we join Nathan Tokba with the news bulletin.
Justice in Chambers Jimmy Gbese has issued a temporary stay order in the case involving former Finance Minister Samuel Tue and his co-defendants. The ruling follows a petition for a writ of certiorari filed by state prosecutors challenging a decision made by Criminal Court C resident George Blamodison questioned the ruling in the case. During his ruling, Judge Dixon stated that under the Liberian law, the prosecution may challenge the sufficiency of the surety bond by filing a notice of exceptions within 3 days to the bond's approval. He also referenced Article 21D of the Liberian Constitution, which guarantees that all accused persons are entitled to bail. However, Judge Dixon emphasized that excessive bail should not be imposed in line with Article 21D. He further noted that the defendants, as former government officials, are entitled to constitutional protections and due process under the law. State prosecutors raised concerns about the sufficiency of the property bond filed by the defendants, arguing that it did not meet the legal requirements to properly represent the accused. They contended that the bond was insufficient to ensure proper representation according to legal standards. Judge Basis' decision comes amid an intensifying legal battle, with the court now scheduling a conference for all involved parties. A tragic accident involving the official vehicle of late Senator Prince Johnson has left 4 people dead and 2 others seriously injured. The crash, which occurred near Kakatat on the highway leading to Nimba County, has added to the sorrow surrounding the death of the permanent Liberian politician. The vehicle marked Senate 13 was en route to Nimba County when they collided under still unclear circumstances. According to sources, the crash claimed the lives of 4 passengers, while the driver and one other individual managed to survive the horrific accident. Darius Women, a member of Senator Johnson's public relations team, confirmed that the driver escaped unharmed, although the exact cause of the crash remains under investigation. The tragic crash comes just a week after Senator Prince Johnson's death, which sent shockwaves through Liberia. Former districts and county education officers have filed a writ of prohibition before the justice in chambers against Education Minister Dr. Jasso Jala. The aggrieved education officers and In their petition to the justice in chambers, prayed the court to intervene in what they described as unlawful attempt by the Ministry of Education to remove them from their positions as county and district education officers. The petitioners, represented by their spokesperson, Stephen Toh, argued that their removal is in violation of the Education Act of 2011, specifically Section 6.2.4 and 6.3.4, which govern the employment and qualifications of education officers in Liberia. The petitioners contended that they were lawfully appointed to their positions in accordance with the Education Act, which mandates the county education officer and district education officers to be recruited on a competitive merit basis. According to Section 6.2.4, the County Education Board is responsible for nominating candidates for the position, and the Ministry of Education must approve the appointment in line with qualifications and regulations set by the ministry. The petitioners, also represented by Councillor Dempster Brown, chairperson of the Independent National Commission on Human Rights, have filed their case through the commission. Elite Audio has revealed that Senator Prince Johnson felt betrayed by Boakai Kun over support for war crimes. Quote, a leaked audio recording has surfaced, allegedly capturing the late Niba County Senator Prince Johnson expressing feelings of betrayal by President Joseph Boakai and his political ally, Vice President Jeremiah Kun, over their support for the establishment of a war crimes court in Liberia. In the recording, the fallen senator, who was a controversial figure in Liberian politics due to his role during the Civil War, recounted events that left him disappointed with Boakai and Kum. Senator Johnson, whose political influence in Nimba County played a pivotal role in Liberian elections, revealed his frustrations with decisions that seemed contrary to his acceptions of loyalty. When Boakai came, he was deceived, and Boakai is not well. He is still wanting to go after people. The voice purportedly of Senator Prince Johnson stated. He alleged that the former ruling coalition for democratic change orchestrated a resolution in the House of Representatives concerning the War Crimes Code, which was then forwarded to the Senate. According to the recording, Senator Johnson claimed to have discovered that he and Senator James Barney were among the last senators not who had not signed the resolution. He questioned Senator Kuhn, a former ally, about the situation, expressing disappointment at the perceived shift in the loyalty. According to him, Phoebe Kuhn gave him US 5,000 to find a lawyer to defend him in court if the court was established. He also said he was assured by the majority of the senators that the resolution was crafted to appease the president, but when a bill for the establishment of the code is crafted and sent to them, they will not pass it into law. The Pharmaceutical Association of Liberia has spoken of a renewed pledge and unwavering support to the health sector in the country. The Pharmaceutical Association of Liberia chairman on media and publicity, Dr. Morrison Tamba, recounting the significant role pharmacists play in the country's health sector, said the association remains up to the task in effectively and efficiently contributing their quota to the country. Speaking in an interview with the station, Dr. Tamba stressed the need for continuing saving lives, upholding their professional medical oath, and other impactful contributions to the society. The group of health practitioners' renewed commitment comes as it prepares for the hosting of AIDS Retreat 2024 from December 5th to the 7th. 2024. He added that the PAL 2024 Ganta Retreat is under the theme Bridging the Gap, Building a Resilient Pharmaceutical Association. Dr. Tamad explained that the key issue bordering on the growth and development of PAL will be placed on the table to include gains over the years, challenges, and prospects. The National Road Fund and the European Union Institute for Cooperation and Development have signed a memorandum of understanding aimed at providing Liberian students one-hand vocational training in the engineering sectors in the country. During the signing ceremony, the manager of the National Road Fund, Josita Wento, signed on behalf of the institution, while the country director of the European Union Institute for Cooperation and Development, Kalimu, Kalimi Jasso, Jassoqueris, signed on behalf of his organization. Speaking shortly before the signing ceremony, the manager of the National Road Fund, Josita Wento, said the MOU will facilitate and promote internship opportunities from students in Liberia. She encouraged students to have succeeded in the batch for 2024 to utilize the training in order to reduce the gaps in engineering profession in Liberia. For his part, the country director of the European Institute for Cooperation and Development, Kalemi Jassoquez, disclosed his organization is interested in developing Liberian's vocational training center. He has showed the National Road Fund of his organization full year's cooperation in ensuring that young people obtain professional engineering skills. The Inspector General of the Liberia National Police, Gregory Coleman, has vowed to enhance security efforts and address persistent challenges in Southern Liberia, including River Jeed, Grand Crew, and Maryland counties. Speaking at the community engagement meeting at the Playboy City Hall in Playboy City during the weekend, Coleman highlighted the importance of forging stronger partnerships between law enforcement and local stakeholders, adding that complaints about security issues in the southeast re- have increased, requiring immediate attention. He noted that the engagement is part of the LMP routine outreach to strengthen security networks and build trust with local communities. The meeting brought together various stakeholders, including leaders of the motorcycle and tricycle unions, Madam Chris Walker, District Inspector, Playboy City Mayor Larry G. Gigo, and a representative from the Liberia Marketing Association. The Movement for Economic Empowerment has officially launched the Ambassador D. Maxwell Kimian Women Vocational Training and Empowerment Program to provide marketable skills for women in the country. Speaking during the official launching ceremony, the wife of the political leader, Reverend Mystery Dalokad Kimian, said the program was launched for women in and out of the party to be trained in various vocational skills to support themselves and their families. Reverend Mother Kimian added that the training of women in various vocational skills would eventually help reduce the high rate of poverty in Liberia. According to her, as time goes by, the same vocational training programs will be established in other areas to open up the project for women in distance communities. Mr. Krimian unveiled several sewing machines, baking, and soap making utensils at the end of the program.
Newton Togba with the news bulletin. The news bulletin is a regular feature on King's Newsroom. A reminder you listen to King's Newsroom 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Stories top in the news this afternoon: Supreme Court issues temporary stay order in case involving former Finance Minister Samuel Toy and others. At least 4 persons have reported dead on the Mangibi Highway during fatal accident involving deceased Nima County Senator Prince Johnson's official vehicle Senate 13. Several district and counties education officers file writ of prohibition against Education Minister Dr. Jasu Jala. The aggrieved education officers termed as unlawful attempt by Dr. Jala to remove them from their positions. Away from home, a King court has convicted a photographer for the murder of LGBT activist, popularly known as Eden Choluba, whose body was found dumped in a metal box nearly 2 years ago. We'll take a break to be back with voices of the newsmakers. Welcome back and thanks for being there. The Pharmaceutical Association of Liberia has spoken of a renowned pledge and unwavering support to the health sector in the country. The Pharmaceutical Association of Liberia chairman of media and publicity, Dr. Morrison Tamba, recounting the significant role pharmacists play in the country's health sector, said the association remains up to the task in the effective and efficient contributing their quota to the country.
There are burning issues the association have been faced with, ranging from reconciliation among its member, reclassification, the practice of pharmacists in our healthcare system in Liberia, the remuneration from government, those pharmacists, and a lot of wide range of issues. But the association is serving as a pressure group. We have personnel, high profile personnel in the pharmacy sector that will be at Ganta, and they will be listening to this plight. And at the end of the day, there will be a resolution that will be given to them. And we urge them that this resolution will go over a timeline that they will work alongside with so that the practice of pharmacy can be very smooth, unique, and that will encourage other young scientists to become part of the profession in Liberia. And this retreat is very, very crucial at the moment. And then those are a lot of other issues we'll be looking at. We're having a guest speaker on the first day who's traveling from Zimbabwe, Dr. Lloyd Matowi. He was once in Liberia and served as Fulbright professor teaching at the pharmacy school. He's currently in country and he will be speaking. He's our guest speaker. He has the pharmaceutical strengthening system in Africa. And so he's here from Zimbabwe and he will be sharing his own thought with us. The theme of this retreat is bridging the gaps, having a strong resilience in the sector, in the practice of pharmacy in Liberia.
Dr. Morrison Tamba is the chairman of the Pharmaceutical Association of Liberia. The movement for economic empowerment has officially launched the Ambassador D. Maxwell Sakimiya Women Vocational Training and Empowerment Program to provide marketable skills for women in the country. Speaking during the official launch ceremony, the wife of the political leader of MOVE, Reverend Dalukai Kimiya, said the program was launched for women and out of the party to be trained in various vocational skills to support themselves and their families. Reverend Mother Kimiya added that the training of women in various vocational skills will eventually help reduce the high rate of poverty in Liberia.
I want to appreciate the movement for economic empowerment for honoring us by naming this program after my forever loving husband. When you empower a woman, you empower a nation. When you empower a woman, it has a ripple effect. It doesn't stay with that woman, it goes through generations. When you empower a woman, you eradicate poverty. When you educate a woman, you build a vibrant society. We know what we are going through during these times. People are unable to feed their families. The rate of prostitution is so high because you want something from somebody, you have to sell your body. This is not street showing. Ex-combatants, women, he trained, they had tailoring, soap making, hairdressing. He worked with women over the years. Even in our community, the women launched a program. He has been working with women. He is there to empower women. That is who he is. A selfless person. Our mothers, our women, they need to be empowered so somebody can step over them. So somebody can tell them, say, because you don't know it, so you have to lick my feet. That time is over. Really, enough is enough.
Reverend Dalokai Kimia is the wife of the Movement for Economic Empowerment political leader, Ambassador D. Maxwell Kimia. The National Rule Fund and the European Institute for Cooperation and Development have signed a memorandum of understanding aimed at providing Liberian students on-hand vocational training in the engineering sectors in the country. During the signing ceremony, the manager of the National Role Fund, Josie Tawanto, signed on behalf of her institution, while the country director of the European Institute for Cooperation and Development, Gali Lomi, signed on behalf of his organization. Speaking shortly before the signing ceremony, the manager of the National Rule Fund, Josie Tawanto, said the MOU will facilitate and promote internship opportunities for students in Liberia.
The National Role Fund today is signing a memorandum of understanding with the European Institute for Cooperation and Development, IECD. This team is a renowned team of industry experts, paving the way for a transformative technical internship program. This strategic partnership promises to equip aspiring professionals with the knowledge and skills needed to drive the future of road infrastructure development while promoting internship opportunities in Liberia. This strategic partnership underscores our mutual commitment to enhancing vocational training and providing valuable experiences for students in the country. The internship program will provide participants with hands-on experience in the intricacies of road construction, maintenance, and management. Under the guidance of seasoned professionals, interns will delve into latest advancement in infrastructure planning, project management, and cutting-edge technologies. This comprehensive training will empower the next generation of infrastructure leaders, enabling them to contribute their expertise and passion to the continuing growth and modernization of the nation's road network.
For his part, the country director of the European Institute for Cooperation and Development, Gil Liman de John Quetz, disclosed that his organization is interested in developing Liberians' vocational training sector.
Very important day to have this signature together. This MOU is the first one that we're signing, but it goes in the direction that IECD has embraced since its creation in Liberia 4 years ago. We are an NGO, IECD, so the European Institute of Cooperation and Development. We've been created since 1988, but only 4 years in Liberia. We have an expertise which is on helping, supporting vocational training. And that's what we do here in Liberia with the help of the French government through its development agency, it's called AFD. So we have received a grant of 10 million euros, which where we are putting in place this Tibet support in Liberia. The objective for us is to create new curriculums on new modern equipment so that the young people, students, get the skills to in line with the private sector, in line with what Liberia needs. So that's what we've been working on. And this is why we have also this agreement and this MOU between the National Road Fund and IECD is to make sure that the construction companies and road construction gets the right skills as well, and we are helping with this.
Country director of the European Institute for Cooperation and Development, Gilliman Des John Quetz. Ella, you heard the voice of the National Rule Fund of Liberia manager, Josita Wento. A reminder you're listening to King's News Broom, 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, in our one word. Story stopping the news this afternoon. Supreme Court issues temporary stay order in case involving former Finance Minister Samuel Tuwa and others. At least 4 persons are reported dead on the Mangibi Bon County's highway during fatal accident involving deceased Nima counties in the Prince Johnson's official vehicle Senate 13. Several districts and counties education officers filed a writ of prohibition against Education Minister Dr. Jasso Jalai. The aggrieved education officers termed as unlawful attempt by Dr. Jalai to remove them from their positions. And away from home, a Kenyan court has convicted a photographer for the murder of LGBT activist, popularly known as Eden Choloba, whose body was found dumped in a metal box nearly 2 years ago. We'll take another break to be back with more voices. Welcome back and thanks for being there. The Inspector General of the Liberia National Police, Gregory Coleman, has vowed to enhance security efforts and address persistent challenges in southeastern Liberia, including River Jeed, Green Creek, and Maryland counties. Speaking at a community engagement meeting at the Plebo City Hall in Plebo City during the weekend, Coleman highlighted the importance of forging stronger partnership between law enforcement and local stakeholders, adding that complaints about security issues in the southeast have increased, requiring immediate attention.
I'm also using the opportunity to address some of the many security issues that have been coming out of this particular region, not just here in Plebo, but in Grand Crew and River D as well. So this is a part of what we do. The community engagement is our responsibility in connecting with the people to answer to them. We work for them, we serve them. So if they have concerns, it's always the best thing and the right thing for those who they have entrusted with the power and the responsibility of security to be answerable to them. We cannot wait for a crisis to become full bloom before we step into issues. Once we start to pick up the early warnings, it's our responsibility to come in and address those issues before it reaches a point of conflict. And that's what we're doing here today. So you will see me back here very, very soon to ensure that we give a longer lasting solution to the issues specifically surrounding the concession. Look, the thing about it is these investments are very important to the livelihood of our people. If they leave, economic issues will be a serious challenge. Immediately, it becomes an issue for the police because crime will definitely go up. And when the crime goes up, all that blame and responsibility will be on the police. Nobody's going to say, oh, what we did that caused the people to leave is not effective. Or they say, no, the police is not working. So before it reaches that point, we're just trying to be proactive, start to engage positively to bring the community together, protect the investment, and ensure that we're able to create a safe passage where economic growth and development can thrive.
Inspector General of the Liberia National Police, Colonel Gregory Coleman, thus speaking. Monserrado County District and Representative Yeka Koluba has voiced his disappointment with Vice President Jeremiah Kun for attending President Joseph Boakai's 80th birthday celebration, despite the recent passing of his political mentor. Speaking exclusively to reporters at his office in Monrovia, Representative Koluba expressed his disapproval of Kun's presence at the event, stating that it was the senator who initially brought Kun into the political world. He emphasized that the Unity Party had promised to bring change and improve the country, but instead things have only gotten worse on their route, adding that the current administration is even more incompetent than the previous one.
To use this, we brought Joseph Walker, and Joseph Walker has become a failure. Oh yes, we said we're not going to put billboards. Former president, we are putting billboard up for a birthday party. What Joseph Walker doing today? Those billboards are up. What changed? The promises we made that things that were happening during that time were not going to happen. It happening than ever before. So you don't know you have been celebrated. You don't know where the jealousy come from. Because what we said we're going to change, we're not changing. We're even worse than you, former president. We are. But you know, see this celebrate. See Jeremiah Kun. Jeremiah Kun, you are embarrassment of disgrace. The men that made you senator, that made you representative, that you were supposed to go there to even say Akin to tell you happy birthday. You were supposed to go there. Was that happy birthday important? Joseph Boakai press conference is to tell the Broom people at Jeremiah Kun we don't in a mob, load the cowaton, they pray more. That one I can steal money. That drummer they call James Barney. Other senators are going around and lying on the Supreme Court bench. How they are giving the court money and the court will rule in the field. That information is now we believe in the Supreme Court. That is why we keep respecting the Supreme Court. They had a meeting yesterday. I am saying yesterday that you're found out that meeting when I head to Ala Lagoon, I think LRA boss were in our meeting because the LRA boss is not here. The final minister were in our meeting. Jeremiah Kun were not there, but criminal Prince Moy that employing all the family people were in the meeting and all of senators. The Jane Bannon, that job we have made were in the meeting, giving the people the assurance and they put the rule in the field. We will not determine the code ruling, but we appreciate and we will endorse and we will embrace and we will adhere to the code ruling.
Monserrato District 10 Representative Yeke Koluba. The Labrador Senate has paid tribute to fallen Nima County Senator Prince Johnson by covering and turning his seat over. On Thursday, November 28, Senator Prince Johnson was regarded as the political godfather of Nima County, collapsed and was pronounced dead at the Hope for Women Hospital in Painesville, as according to family sources. Speaking at the House of Senate in Morovia, the President pro tempore, Yumble Kanga Lawrence, stated that 8 years later she joined Senator Johnson in the Senate.
Senator Prince Y. Johnson became a senator in 2005. 8 years later, I joined him in the Senate. He is the only senator who was serving his third term when he passed, which made him a veteran and a ranking senator. He was a cooperative and submissive colleague. In 2013, shortly after I joined the Senate, Senator Johnson had planned a convention for his party to be held in Basel, when his party had some political disagreements. That led to him making a statement that he will take 300 men to the convention to deal with. I complained to the Senate about being uncomfortable with that statement, and that convention was canceled because the Senate gave a mandate and the Senate cooperated. In 2016, Senator Johnson was chair on defense and pursued the former police IG Grace Massacre. I to attend a hearing at the Senate while the Senate waited in plenary. When the Senate was informed about the alleged resolution, Senator Johnson was suspended for investigation. I was a member of that investigation committee, and he cooperated until his suspension was later lifted after 3 months. When the issue of war crimes code was discussed on the Senate floor, he would walk out and make remarks to justify why it was illegal to bring the war crimes up. But when the Senate finally decided to sign the resolution for the war crimes code, after almost 10 years, he cooperated, signed for the establishment of the war in economic crime. He believed in forgiveness. Every time Senator Johnson made any statement against a colleague, he would later come back to apologize and ask for forgiveness. Immediately after the 2023 election, he spoke derogatory about me on the media platform, and the country was concerned and supporters became very political in responding to his statement. The next morning, he called me and said, "Distinguished, I don't know what came over you. You are such a good girl." A few days before he passed, we had a last encounter that I will cherish. We were in our break room, and in the snow, we started to joke with him about a statement he made about me, and I said the party notes are in his door. Smiled very pleasantly and said, "Yes, the totem is my daughter."
Monserrato Senator Darius DeLon also disclosed that he and Senator Prince Johnson had a good relationship before his death, disclosing that the late Senator Johnson took his daughter to him to beg him to ask President Boakai to give her a job.
All I can say is, may the soul of Senator Prince Johnson rest in peace. We are no God, we are men, we are human. We judge people on the basis of man-made law. We leave God's law and God's action to God. The public perception is that Senator Prince Johnson and Darius DeLon never ever got along. The senators here know it was a completely different thing. We are all senators, but I have said the interaction with Senator Johnson. Most of you know, but for the sake of the public, Senator Johnson called me several times on personal issues. Even after he walked out of this place many times and dealing with me, turning my table, all that thing, he would call me in the evening. But later, Senator Johnson brought his daughter to me, Krista. Senator Johnson killed him. Thank you. Thank you. Senator Johnson brought his daughter to me, and several times he said, Senator, my son, please talk to President Walker to give my daughter a job. I trust you in your relationship with the president. I said, I will honor that request. 2 days before his passing, Senator Johnson called me and said, distinguished, please don't forget. I said, the president, I will meet the president in Grand Bassa County for the funeral of the late lieutenant of Grand Bassa County, and I will remind him. Thursday morning, we in Grand Bassa County for the funeral of the late lieutenant of Grand Bassa County, when Krista called me early in the morning crying, Senator, Daddy gone, he left me with you. And that's when I knew. And she told me what happened to the woman. I'm being an emotional person. I broke down. I called the protest and informed her when Senator Daba Babla came, Senator Boto Kane came, all of them came to Grand Bassa County. By the time the president arrived in Grand Bassa County at the protest house for the funeral, right in her living room, I said to the president was also down. And I said to the president, I said, Mr. President, Senator Johnson left a wish, a last will, maybe with me, for me to us to interview.
Monserrado County Senator Abraham Darius DeLon. Earlier you heard the voice of the pro-tem Yomli Kanga Lawrence. Briefly away from Liberia, King Code has convicted a photographer for the murder of LGBT activist Edwin Kapotek, commonly known as Edwin Chaloba, whose body was found dumped in a metal box nearly 2 years ago. A court in the western city of Idore ruled that the prosecution had proven that Jackton Adiobo, who was living with Chilebo, had killed him. Chilebo's body had been found dumped on the roadside in Idore, where he was a university student. The murder sparked global condemnation, with human rights groups saying it was because of his sexuality. Kenya is a relatively conservative society, and gay sex is illegal, punishable by up to 14 years in prison, although it is not clear whether there has been any convictions. However, the Supreme Court last year affirmed a ruling allowing LGBT people the right to associate and register a rights organization. Well, on that note, that's how we come to a near end of this edition of King's Newsroom. But before we leave, a quick reminder of stories to follow in the headlines. Supreme Court issues temporary stay order in case involving former Finance Minister Samuel Toy and others. At least 4 persons have reported dead on the Mangibi County's highway, though in fatal accident involving deceased Niba County St. Prince Johnson's official vehicle Senate 13. He also heard in the news several districts and county education officers filed a writ of prohibition against Education Minister Dr. Jasso Jala. The aggrieved education officers termed as unlawful attempt by Dr. Jala to remove them from their positions. Away from home, a Kenyan court has convicted a photographer for the murder of a LGBT activist, popularly known as Eden Choloba, whose body was found dumped in a metal box nearly 2 years ago. Many thanks to our reporters, correspondents, and all those who helped in making this edition of King's Newsroom a success. Newton Tokpa brought you the news bulletin. Colinius Johnson sat at control and handled the technical aspect of this production. On behalf of the team, I'm Sherman Deere. I present it. Thanks for listening and watching.